Hey, everybody! Lee and Tammy Sanders back with you guys for a all new edition of Wrestling with the Topics this weekend of July 27th, 2025. Good God Almighty. Lee with you all. Join along with me as always, the beautiful and the lovely Tammy.
Hello.
Oh man, I tell you what a weekend, what a weekend, what a weekend. A lot of good, mixed in with some bad, and then mixed in with some what the fuck. Just all kinds of loveliness that's just going on. This has to be as long as we have been alive. Has it been any crazier of a week as far as headlines that you can recall? I mean, I almost want to say maybe not as crazy as when Michael Jackson died. And here's some fun trivia.
Mhm.
For those of you that may not know, before Michael Jackson's passing, there was another passing that was announced. Like, if I'm not mistaken, if not the day before,
Mhm.
hours for sure before the announcement of Michael Jackson's passing. And it was all that's your trivia. That's your one and only trivia little thing you're going to get from me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just in this day and age, you can do Google, you can do Bing, you can go hit up AI. I'll give you this much of a hint. It involves a female actress. It involves a female actress. I remember it to this day very vividly. And the only reason why I remember it is because I remember right before I had began my commute to work, I was looking at news on my phone and I saw, I think I was watching maybe CNN or something, and they broke the news that she died. And I was like, whoa. And everybody was running with it. But then when
Mhm.
Michael Jackson passed, it was like an afterthought.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, yeah, it was just an afterthought. But yeah, man, fantastic. Well, I'm not gonna say fantastic week. If you are a fan of all things entertainment, then this definitely was a really, really rough week for a lot of folks. Of course, Malcolm-Jamal Warner passing away at the age of 54, and just the circumstances of that.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something, and I don't think I've ever said this to you yet. If if I did, I can't remember, and it might have just been within short passing. But I was here Monday Night Live reacting to the news of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Because remember, he died last weekend.
Mhm.
And we dealt with the information. Yeah, he died last weekend because I came on that Monday show and
Right.
I talked
Yeah,
about how he
we found
passed.
out that
Right,
Monday.
right.
Mhm.
Now, and I went based off of the information that I had available at that time. There was no other information available, but at that time, I was on the Monday show and I said to folks, this is very similar to Shad Gaspard, who passed away May 17th, 2020.
Mhm.
I said that not even knowing the full scope of circumstances because by Wednesday, more
Mhm.
information came out that Malcolm Jamal Warner and his 8-year-old daughter were out swimming over there somewhere in
Costa
Costa
Rica.
Rica,
Mhm.
and they both got caught up by the currents there.
Mhm.
And when I immediately heard that, I said, "Holy shit!"
Mhm.
Because all we knew at the time on Monday was
There you
Malcolm
go.
Jamal Warner. Malcolm Jamal. We didn't
Right.
hear anything about a kid.
Mhm.
We didn't hear anything about a kid. Not
Mhm.
until Wednesday, and it was like, whoa. And I like second guessed myself. I'm like, did I miss something here? Like, how come? And but no, there was nothing about a kid
No.
from the weekend
No.
going into Monday. I don't think even Tuesday, but Wednesday for sure it was. And that just broke my heart even more because everybody that knows what happened with Shad Gaspard, they tried to rescue him first, and he said,
Mhm.
"No,
Mhm.
no, get my son first." And I don't know if Malcolm Jamal Warner might have been in that same position, or and I can only imagine his daughter, the heartbreak that she's going through. Her head's going to be messed up for quite a long time. That I don't think
Yeah,
she's going to need years of therapy.
yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And they need to get on that quick.
yeah.
So, in the way I heard it, let me say that.
Mm,
Reports that I heard were both were essentially unresponsive. A surfer that was in the area actually rescued the daughter first, worked on her, got her back up and breathing. They worked on Malcolm Jamal Warner for 45 minutes and called it.
mm, mm.
So, and some very, very, very sketchy speculation that another person, another male. But that's like hearsay at this point because you really don't. It's not this widespread, but for sure, it was him and the daughter, and one would, as thinking as a parent,
Mm,
would think that yes, as a father, he was trying to save his daughter first.
mm.
And of course, with the waves and so on and so forth, that that in itself could be
And
very, very trying because not to make this about me, but there was one time I was literally in a friend of the family's pool and we were playing around, and it's a pool, mind you. And essentially, one of the kids had jumped on my back, and then another kid had jumped on my back, and I lost my footing. I swear to God, if my mom hadn't have been in that pool, it wouldn't have been uh, as light of a, because I was taking on water and it was not fun. So I can see the simulation, and I could probably even understand, you know, the the scenario there.
you would think, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'm surprised that the president and his administration has not really looked more into this and is just lighting the hell out of Costa Rica, because in the days since Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing, we have learned that the Playa Grande lifeguards were confirmed to not be present on the beach at the time of the incident due to a lack of resources.
Yeah, I heard that the lifeguards were not there or not on duty at that time.
Let me keep going because this is my first time. This is my first time. Then you need to. Then you feel
Yeah.
free to jump in. Whatever you know,
Yeah,
like
that's
jump
the
in.
only other piece of information besides seeing the area in a small clip of footage. Those waves look strong,
Mm,
very strong. And depending on, as someone who has been a beachgoer all my life, the further in uh, that you are to the waves and where they break, essentially, sometimes the stronger they are. And to be honest with you, there are times when you think a wave may be one way and it turns out to pack one hell of a punch.
mm,
It was funny. I was telling a coworker not that long ago in reference to Ocean City. Not being long-winded, the waves were so strong even there that my dad was actually standing on my feet as a 7-year-old girl, and it was knocking both of us down.
mm.
So just the strength that in the further out you go, generally the lighter it is, but you still have can have an undertow, and you really don't know what's happening, in the water, because you don't know what kind of storms are nearby or anything like that. So but that's really the only other piece of information I know.
There was a doctor that did not want to be identified, but he did grant a interview with US Weekly as he told them he was about 200 meters away from the incident that day, and he was with his partner. Apparently, there were very few people on the beach, and he described the sea as looking very rough. So, I mean, he goes on to say, I ran to the area and entered the sea with my surfboard, heading into the rip current toward the person being pointed at by some beachgoers. After a few minutes, I saw a shadow, dove down, and pulled the person out. And then once the doctor managed to get to shore, he noticed another bystander who had helped rescue the actor lying on the sand while struggling to catch his breath. Mentioned that he was just someone who tried to help during the emergency without any rescue equipment. So very unfortunate. It's a lot of what's been put out there. Everything went down so quickly. I mean, from the moment they were able to retrieve Malcolm-Jamal Warner, immediately going right to CPR and everything, and it's just a fucked up way to go out. I mean, you guys got to forgive me, but like, it's so depressing to hear this, and I didn't really get a chance to really talk about his passing the way I really wanted to properly put the spotlight on it. But and I don't mean for this to be a race thing. I don't. But can we give this brother his flowers,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think he got enough flowers while he was still alive. Look at it from this standpoint. You never heard this man involved in any type of controversy whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
You think about some of the stuff that had went down with what's his name, Jonathan Majors.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the stuff that went down with him, that whole fiasco. You look at Diddy and
That
Diddy.
whole fiasco.
People will never look at Diddy the
Same
same
way
way.
again.
He's going to continue to be a running joke and all that other stuff. But you look at Bill Cosby. You look at a lot of the greats, and even LeBron James to a certain degree, involved in a little bit of controversy, a little bit, a little tarnish here and there
Mm-hmm.
on his record. Nothing, scandalous or salacious or anything like that. But you look at Malcolm Jamal Warner, and here was a guy that, and a large part of that credit definitely goes to his parents. They raised
Mm-hmm.
their son
Mm-hmm. And his mom
perfectly.
was a very, very big influence to, up till
Yeah.
his passing.
You just look at the fact that he was never involved in any controversy, nothing whatsoever. He just kept his head down. He did his work. Each role that he took on, he always tried to look for some type of substance, some type of connection to that character.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when he found that magic, he had a beautiful way of really bringing that out. And a lot of people, I would imagine, as I had said on Monday, I know a lot of people were probably like, wait, well, first of all, I didn't know he was still alive. And that's fine if they likely, but then too, it's like, oh, what the hell has he been up to? Like he stopped acting, didn't he? And it's like, no, he's been involved. You just ain't been watching
Mm-hmm.
that respected show. But the man
Right.
was busy right on up till his death,
Mm-hmm.
doing different types of projects and everything. And he was all about trying to uplift others,
Mm-hmm.
especially those within his community. And it's sad that the Tyler Perrys, the Spike Lees, the whoever the creator is of Empire,
Mm-hmm.
it's sad that those folks. Courtney, is it Courtney
Oh,
Cox, the creator of the Power
no,
franchise?
Courtney Kemp, I think.
Courtney Kemp, thank you, Courtney Kemp. It's sad that so many people
Mm-hmm.
I hear all this talk all the time about, black unity and hey, we got to look out for our brothers and sisters and all, hey, show me somebody that's, and it's like, well, here's this guy all these years. Why didn't y'all tap into him? Like what the hell? And you can't say, oh, well, maybe he thought that role was beneath him. There was some joint that he did many years ago where he played a prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so no, he was
Oh, he was
universal.
very
He was
versatile.
very universal.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just didn't come knocking on his door. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You just didn't come knocking on his door. So
And not only that, he had, it was multifaceted as well.
yeah.
Not only was he a great actor, but he dipped into music and poetry and, really wanted to find his niche within that. Acting was his bread and butter, but he also used it to support some of his other passion projects.
Hmm.
So, and I think he really was in what I saw in the bits and pieces of some of his work. I think he was absolutely at one point in turmoil as a person trying to find themselves and what their meaning of life on this earth would be, but also going back to and then finally finding solace in the fact that what, I'm out here, I'm doing this thing, and it's all about uplifting others, and that's all I can do. And you know what, that speaks volumes to someone who can take a negative and turn it into a positive and struggle with it, but it's a one day at a time thing.
Final thoughts on the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner, because I know for you, I want to give you the floor now, because I definitely spoke about him at great length and everything. And if y'all are curious to hear more of my thoughts, I mean, well, it should. I don't know what more I can say other than what I said on Monday, but this is your first time really talking about his passing. Floor is yours.
I, for me, I will say that I was actually floored. So, to make a very long story short, I pretty much was on break at work, and generally my break tends to be something me scrolling through Facebook. And it was from TMZ, and I was like, "Who died?" And it was just so out of the realm of what I even thought possible that it was like, say what? And so I actually was in shock. And I thought, wow, what a great an actor. Wasn't even, honestly, I loved him as Theo, loved him in Malcolm and Eddie, but really just kind of lost track, but kind of got lost in other things in reference to some of his projects, but had great respect for him. As I, as an 80s kid, come on. Most of the 80s kids know at some point you watched Cosby, generally. So, but to hear how he was really killing it in, his new program, which was The Resident, and I heard he was really, really good in that. I do tend to most likely check some of that out, but also really finding out how multifaceted he was in reference to musician, author, writer, actor, and really just
Podcaster.
podcaster, which
Yeah. I'm definitely going
apparently,
to check out. Yeah. I already
yeah,
got some episodes of his on
yeah,
queue.
I'm definitely curious about that too. And then to know that let's Keisha and I pull him, or Rudy was on his podcast within the last 2 months, of his passing, prior to his passing, I should say. But what really struck me and I was very curious about was, okay, I knew Bill Cosby had said something. My curiosity came to Felicia Richard, who played his mother. Well, what I found was, because I was like, she hasn't said anything? I was like, that's weird. And what I found was a really, really deep, close relationship between him and her. He considered her his on-screen mom,
Hmm.
like like a second mom
Hmm.
type of deal. And she is trying to put things in place to make sure that he is not forgotten. In reference to starting up a black men kind of like a social gathering type of deal for people who are struggling with their own sanity in the industry and things of that nature, and kind of creating a safe space. So that was kind of cool to see. But to know that she really did care for him as he was almost, you know, her on-screen son, but really cared for him as a mother. So that was cool to hear. But in closing, for me, I, had great love for his character acting, for what he did. I thought he always was a gentle dude, a very nice guy. Kind of got liked knowing a little bit more about him. But it's really sad, and he could have had so much more time and done so much more good. But for me, as they say, the good ones go home early. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that just, oof. One thing that was interesting that I never knew, there was a lot that I did not know that he's been up to all these years. But one thing that just, how did that escape me? And I watched like all the stuff back in the 80s and 90s. How did that escape me? His guest appearance on Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And I thought I've seen every single
Oh, I
episode
think
of
I
Fresh
remember that one.
Prince. Well, don't
Glasses.
tell me. Don't tell me. He did wear
Yeah,
glasses.
I've seen it.
I never saw that episode. And I swear to you, I've seen. Obviously, I'm suffering from the Mandela effect because it's like I swear I've seen, and then it's like just when I think I've seen every episode of Deadly Women, no, that's not the case. Just when I think I've seen every episode of Columbo, no, that's not the case. It's like so now I'm definitely trying to make it be my mission. I think Fresh Prince of Bel Air, if it's not available on Peacock, I think maybe it's available on. I'm not talking about the new Fresh Prince of Bel Air people. I'm talking about the old school, the one that Will Smith was actually on. I think if it's not on Peacock, it's maybe on. Why do I feel like maybe it's possibly on HBO Max? I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, I know it's on one of those damn things. Now I got to go out of my way, check it out, and see what's going on. I hope that whatever they got planned for him, it doesn't just stop with what you had mentioned. I would also like to see a scholarship in his name. I'd like to see something that goes forward more specifically to youths, particularly those in low income households, making sure that they have access to the necessary resources that they need. Okay, you are an aspiring musician. What instrument do you want to play? What have you always thought about playing? Okay, well, we're going to make sure that these resources are available so that if that's something that you're definitely passionate about and you want to pursue that, oh, you want to be a writer, oh, you want to be a painter, like anything is. Look, I will say this: if Malcolm Jamal Warner showed us anything, especially in what we were able to learn about him in the later years, it's that you don't have to just settle for whatever you think you're good at. There's no reason for you to be complacent. You can keep challenging yourself, and I think we as a society, we definitely need to really take that to heart. When it's all said and done, we only get one rodeo on this planet, so you might as well make the most out of it. And he definitely did that right on up
Yeah. Yeah.
to the very end when it's all said and done. Now, we had another passing, and Malcolm Jamal. That was like a couple of days after Ozzy Osbourne had passed away, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I'll have to go back to
I
see. We had this issue. We had this issue before because Tams was we were somehow and just in conversation, we were
I'm
talking.
almost sure.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, for me, I was thinking that Malcolm Jamal Warner was first,
Okay,
and
so
then Ozzy was second.
let's do this again because this is, and I would imagine a lot of people are, because it's like the chronological order. It's when it's all said, it's a lot that we lost. So it's kind of hard to keep track of like who died who, like when, right? Okay, so Malcolm Jamal Warner was first. He was on the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, greatly overshadowed the passing of the metal god himself, Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I gotta be honest with you, and I think this is really my first time commenting on the passing of Ozzy Osbourne because I'm looking at the calendar here. Yeah, Tams and everybody. This is my first time actually commenting on Ozzy. That one fucking hurt. I'm not gonna even lie to you guys. That one fucking hurt because I remember when I still had a relationship with my mother. Our bond, like one of the things that always brought us together, was our love for all things rock, hard rock. And my mom was a big fan of hard rock. And I can remember me and her, we'd go into a Tower Records or we'd go into a Sam Goody and we'd be just lost. Back then it was cassettes before eventually it became CDs. But we when we were hanging out, it was mainly
Mm-hmm.
cassettes. CD hunting, that was. I remember when we transitioned into CDs. She kind of was like, "Okay, let me have him do it, because that's more in his wheelhouse. That's more aimed towards his generation. I'll just. So what did you learn?" And
Mm-hmm.
but once she kind of, like then she started liking CDs too. But when we were collecting, cassettes and all that, boy, she loved Black Sabbath. She loved Ozzy's solo work, Bark at the Moon, Crazy Train. A lot of my musical taste, it came from her. And then it was just, well, eventually I just ventured off and but early on, Black Sabbath, Ozzy solo work. I mean, I can even still remember the days of MTV. And my mom, she needed to do some cleaning around the house or whatever. She'd put on MTV and she'd blast that shit and, whatever was playing. But when Ozzy was on, whatever, oh, she cranked it up even higher. And I'm just kind of like, I'm looking at my mom like, wow, my mom's kind of cool, you know. Um, and Ozzy was one of the first memories that I can recall as a kid of artists I latched on to very quickly, very quickly. And, you've heard this cliche thrown out there a lot and everything, but it's really the truth. There wouldn't be a Metallica, there wouldn't be a
Mm-hmm.
Anthrax, there wouldn't be a insert, 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 insert. There are so many, and it's so interesting because when you look at Ozzy Osbourne, you're like, well, who's he borrowing from? What kind of? It's like, nah, man, Ozzy just you just wake up one day and he's just there and he's in your face. Ozzy just he's in a league of his own. He is just Ozzy. What you see is what you is what you get. It's funny. I think about when I was doing the live campus radio show for my school a couple of semesters ago, and when I was going through my catalog, I was like, "Yo, no matter what I do, no matter how I'm gonna format this show, I gotta have Ozzy. I gotta have Black Sabbath in there. It's like I got to. And I was like, what? I'm like, what can I? And I always kept going back to Planet Caravan from Black Sabbath. It's like one of the most mellow fucking. I mean, if man, you can just and to hear that song in the studio, soundproof walls, the great rich acoustics, I was able to really kick back and really listen to that song and just I get it. I was saying to myself, I get it, right? I loved Ozzy. I loved Ozzy. Ozzy for me could do no wrong. Yeah, he had his drug problems. Yeah, he had his alcohol problems. Nobody's perfect. And then when they did the damn the Osbournes,
Mm-hmm.
look, I frowned big time on reality shows growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you showed me Hogan Knows Best or the Osbournes
Mm-hmm.
or Anna Nicole,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I was watching that shit. I never missed any of those shows, including the Osbournes. I loved seeing Ozzy trying to figure out the most simplistic shit. I mean, I think there was like one episode maybe where like Ozzy got like a new fucking TV or something, and he's trying to like get caught up to speed with the times, and he's like fiddling around with this remote control, and he's like, son, and she's like, what? I can't figure out how to fucking turn goddamn thing on, bloody fucking hell. And just the little fucking nuances. It was because I could relate to that. It's like, yeah, I'm young and I'm still trying to. When I was watching it in real time, I'm like, yeah, you're not alone, Oz. He's like, I'm young myself, and like you might be a little older, but like I'm struggling too. Like, there's like some things. It was just like, it's like, come on, dude, figure it out. It's like that's super easy. You should be able to figure that out. Um, I watched the concert in its entirety 3 weeks ago. When I first heard that this concert was happening, I said, you know, well, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, I said, I don't know about that. And then the other part of me said, well, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a part of me, and the reason why I felt like that way, I said, nah, man, in regards to this dude's health, all the issues that he had a nasty fall, he's been getting surgeries, all this other, like, I don't really know if this guy should be doing this. But then I was like, this is Ozzy Osbourne. Like, once he gets something in his head, you can't tell him differently. Otherwise, you need to go ahead and just, you know. And then I saw the concert. I didn't say anything publicly, but I talked with some of my friends behind the scenes, and we all were like, this was quite sad to see. Like, we shouldn't see him like this. This isn't how we need to remember him. And when you see all the people that were crying, a lot, there was no heckling, there was no booing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was being total fucking pros. They were being so respectful. But man, did motherfuckers lose it when he started singing Mama, I'm Coming Home.
I bet.
I mean, they kept panning the people, and I mean, grown ass men
Mm.
bawling their eyes out. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people knew that,
Mm-hmm.
yo, this dude, he's definitely on borrowed time.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're kind of prepared,
Mm-hmm.
but it still kind of came from out of nowhere because, especially when you heard, hey, after this, Ozzy's done. He's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be making, he's not going to be doing any more live tours,
Mm-hmm.
but he still is going to make new music.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. But you're like, right down to the point, he's got a new memoir that's going to be coming out this fall.
Mm-hmm.
So he was putting the final touches on that. and apparently he was going to give his thoughts on this final concert, this final farewell. Todd McFarlane and them, they just did this thing with the not a toy line, but they were able to get the licensing fees
Oh
and
yeah.
all that for that statue. That now, if you didn't pre-order before, now it's unavailable.
I bet.
Now it's unavailable. So that really is a collector's
Good
item.
item.
That really is a collector's item now. But you know, Ozzy, for me, that fucking hurt because I've seen Ozzy go through so much, and yet he just kept fucking fighting. And so for me to hear him go, I'm gonna do this show, and then I'm done. I'll keep making new music in the studio. I'll put it out when I can, but I'm done. Like, okay, well, I can deal with that. Like, not for nothing, but the last album that he did a couple years ago, fucking awesome. One of his best since, I'd really have to stop and think about it. But there was one particular Ozzy album that came out back in the early 2000s. If I heard the title, I'd be able to tell you if that was it or not. But for me, when I was listening to this newest album he dropped, I hadn't felt that good about an Ozzy album, not since that one in the early 2000s. So, my whole thing was okay, he's going to slide into being a granddad, being a husband, and we know him and Sharon, they had their respected issues and looked as though at one point they maybe were gonna. There was a different chatter out there from people about, oh, he shouldn't have done it, and sometimes when you get this inkling, sometimes you just kind of know, but then sometimes you don't know, and it's just kind of one of those. I want to do this because this might be the last time. So why not? You know, that one hurt though.
Yeah. For me, if you guys have ever heard Wrestling with the Topics before, generally, Lee's taste in music and mine differ on some things. I respect Ozzy and what he has done for music. I respect Lee's opinion of what that means. Not a huge Ozzy fan. I mean, I could tell you that I kind of went along with the mystique every now and then. Had a better appreciation after Lee and I had actually gotten together of Ozzy, but it was never like something I would go out of my way to listen to. But in reference to this last concert, I thought, well, that's interesting. And there was part of me that was like, Then there was another part of me that's like, you know what? Maybe he's going to be just like, other acts that are like, oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to do this and I'm kind of going to be retired. And I'm just going to live out the rest of my days and make my family happy. And that's just going to be what I do. And to be honest with you, I kind of thought in half of my brain that would have been it. I saw bits and pieces, but what I didn't see is the extent of. And Lee was telling me a little bit about, certain kind of off cameras or kind of away camera shots and really the frailty of what he was going through and how he was becoming. So, I mean, I know for a lot of rock fans, that is just one that's like, what the fuck? And my heart goes out to them, for that. And there are some people that have the need, and it seems like Ozzy is one of those people that have to say goodbye. And I really do feel that concert was him saying goodbye to the people who meant the most to him throughout his career.
Yeah.
And I think the people that were there were thinking the same thing. He meant a lot to me I don't know if I'll get another chance. Let me do this.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. I'm at a loss for words. I like what Muhammad said. Muhammad said it the best. Ozzy Osbourne was the Sabu of music. Yeah, yeah. That and then some. And then of course the immortal Hulk Hogan. Now before we talk about Hogan, see me and Tams had already talked about not Hogan, but there was one particular aspect, and this ties into a comment that was made just now. This is from the same person. This is twice now that, because he just posted in the chat. So it's been brought up again. I think you know what I'm. Yeah, yeah. So out of respect to Tams, I'm gonna mention this one time, and I promise you, if this keeps being brought up, I might just quietly hit the block button because then at that point, it's really kind of coming off a little dickish. Would you say that, or it shouldn't warrant a block,
I don't think it should warrant a block, but
but maybe an
to
ignore?
whom it's concerned.
Okay, I gotta say I'm a little irritated because that's twice now,
I know,
and I've
but
responded. I've responded to him directly,
right.
and now he's posting it again, and it comes off a little disrespectful.
So to whom it's concerned, Titus has not been involved with the RCWR show or any affiliated show in probably at least 8 years. This has been a relationship between Lee and Titus that has essentially diminished for whatever reason it may be. Whether, Titus has gone on to do his own thing and be with his family, that's what have you. But they have not connected nor know about anything that's happened with each other in over 8 years. So there is no possibility of Titus coming back. There's no possibility of somebody reviewing Titus's thoughts on anything. We wish him the best. We hope he is well and his family remains healthy and wealthy. That would be awesome. But honestly, for here and the RCWR show, there has been no communication nor connection in over 8 years. So at this point, we're under the assumption that he doesn't want there to be. So I mean, Titus, if you're out there and you want to hit somebody up, please do. But at this point, one would be under that assumption. So to those who are concerned about Titus, I'm sure he appreciates that. But for us in the RCWR show brand, we're moving forward and we're keeping on.
And I like what you just said. Thank you. And understand something. What you were hearing from Tams is irritation because this keeps getting brought up. It seems like it's brought up every once or twice every year. And it's like, do you guys realize that it's been almost 10 years since I last worked with this person? I mean, seriously, it's like, and I got nothing but love and respect for the guy, but the man has dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, like, there's nothing. Social media, like, dude has disappeared, and that's kind of disrespectful to me because I've been putting in the work here since 2011 and I got a lot to show for. And I respect the hell out of Tams for any time she's willing to sit down and do these shows because it's taking a lot out of her schedule because she has a busy schedule as it is. But let me tell you something. As far as, and any real RCWR show listener knows this, I have to want to get in a position, in a mood to, I want to sit down and do a collaboration joint. I want to sit down and I want to get with some friends. And if you've been checking out the channel, you've been listening to the shows over the years, then you know for a fact that if I'm not sitting across from Tams doing a show, I'm sitting across from my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, who I've met in person. The guy has done phenomenal. He has been truly inspirational and a great help to me behind the scenes, especially in regards to my education. As you know, this will probably make him blush, but a lot of what I learned from him, I was able to apply, and ultimately getting my associate's degree in media production. And he was pretty. I think he was pretty instrumental. Years prior, leading up to me going back to school, and okay,
Mhm.
so this is what So me and Mish, we've done many shows before. If anything, we haven't done enough. Joey Numbers, I know listeners had enjoyed when Joey did the show that one time. That's pretty much just put Joey in front of a mic and just let him go. Just let him do his thing. Me and Jason have talked off and on. Jason Solomon of Solid Monster Sounds Off. We've talked off and on over the years. That guy is just always busy. He's got his hands.
Mhm.
I mean, he works public relations full time. So he
Mhm.
represents a very unique and diverse group of folks and all that. So, respect the people that are at play right now that's willing to do something and is willing to cross over here, and I always cross over to them like in a heartbeat. Those are our. And Julian Cannon, we gotta make sure we show him a lot of love. I love Julian Cannon. Anytime I want to pick his brain on some stuff BMF related, or power,
Mhm. In
Julian.
reference to the entertainment industry,
Yeah,
pick his brain about
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
in closing, because we don't want to be too long winded on this,
Nah,
to be honest.
nothing but love and
Nothing but
respect for the
love
guy. But
to Titus and,
yeah,
all the friends and family of the RCWR show that really helped to contribute. Titus, obviously was one of those in his time and space. So love and respect to him, but also respect the person or persons that are in front of you on a daily, weekly basis, in reference to pumping out that product. We respect that you want the opinion of others, or specifically that person, and much love to your opinion, but rehashing the same sentence after you've essentially been told that that's not possible just comes off a little weird. So much love to you as a supporter of the RCWR show, but we will not be talking about this again. So thanks for the comment, but just be mindful that it's a non-subject at this point.
beautiful words. Yeah. You know what? Anybody going forward, I'm just gonna put a
Shut
time
up.
stamp. I'm gonna put a time stamp. I'm gonna put a time stamp. Do you hear us now? Is it clear, brother? It ain't happening. That's like motherfuckers waiting for. That's like motherfuckers waiting for. Damn, what's that group? Pink Floyd. Can you guys come back? Well, this person is dead and this person is dead, but there's two left. Could you guys? Dude, oh, yeah, it ain't happening, man. Like, brother, let it go. Let it go, brother. Hulk Hogan.
All right, that's what I was saying in reference to rest in peace, brother. Um,
So look here. I spoke at great length about Hogan. So I want to go in a different direction,
mm-hmm,
and I'll pivot to that direction in a little bit. I want to give you the floor. Right?
mm-hmm.
You give me your thoughts about Hogan. You take that wherever you want to go. I am just going to shut up because I talked about him, as you know, for over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I first did a short YouTube piece that was like about 3 minutes. And then I decided, no, I want to expand on this even more now that we've broken the news and shared it with, our respected community. And all the comments that's been coming in, it's just right. So I'm gonna pivot in a different direction that I have not pivoted in in a little bit. But what say you?
So again, as a kid growing up in the 80s, we had family that was huge into WWF and watched it religiously. So this particular, my aunt and uncle, my uncle was a huge WWF fan, and then WCW and what have you. But anyway, and of course, and Lee are huge Rocky fans. And so I knew of Hulk Hogan as a kid and watched some of his matches because I mean, back then if somebody was watching on your TV, it was what it was and you just gonna watch it. So, I had respect for him. Thought he was a great sports entertainer, wrestler, and got away from it for a while, and that was what have you. Fast forward to 2011. Lee and I started talking, and he essentially was like, "You're gonna watch this with me," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And so a few rounds of "Yes, I am," "No, you're not," "Yes, I am," "No, you're not." I finally caved. So then began to sh- find out again in reference to Hulk Hogan and NWO and all of that, and kind of like, yeah, what have you been up to? For me, I respect the hell out of what he did for the business. I mean, and to be honest with you, he absolutely, I would say, for where he saw wrestling when he first started to where he took it, he is absolutely one of the goats for that industry. You can't take that away from him. No matter what your feelings are about it, you can't take that away from him. He put in the work, he did the damn thing. He did as much for wrestling as anyone. So, mad respect for that. I was kind of shocked when I heard that he had passed. But I had kind of been hearing rumblings that he wasn't doing so hot, that this, that, and so on and so forth. And you'd hear, reports like, that's bullshit. He's fine. Da 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 da. And, and then it was like, whoa, okay. So I I respect him as a wrestler. I respect him as a sports entertainer. For sure. I cannot speak for him as a person. I cannot speak because I don't know him. I only know his character. That's all I know. And most of us only know that. You can speak to what you've heard, but you don't know him. I mean, you think you do. But just like most of us in any character actor, any person we grew up idolizing or whatever have you, you only know what the cameras show you. You only know what they want you to see. Now, grant you, every now and then you might hear about something that's not in the third. But, and then, you obviously are giving your reaction on what you heard. So, I, again, I don't know that person, but in reference to what he did and in the industry he was in, he gave it 180% of what he had through and through until damn near the day he died. So mad respect for that. But as in certain things that I've heard, I don't I don't know that I exactly like what I've heard. I will be honest with you. I'm not a huge Trump fan. Most of you probably already know this.
Put that to the side.
But what I was saying in reference to, obviously his support and whatever have you, that was his choice and his decision.
Put that to the side.
But basically going forward and in my thoughts on it, you know, basically timestamp my thoughts. Great what he did for the industry, great in what he meant to the business. Sorry that it ended sooner than I'm sure a lot of us would have liked. And that's really my thoughts on it.
Ooh, you danced around that one.
Well, I mean,
You really danced
in
around that one.
reference to what I've heard, in reference to what I've heard and what I've heard other people
I mean, am I right?
react to.
Am I right, guys? She danced around that one. I mean, you kind of got an idea where she is, but I know it's not. It's not really. Um, what's the right word I'm looking for? Tasteful to talk negatively about somebody that's dead. But I've always been a firm believer in as long as you can do it in a way that is as long as you can do it in a way that is not respectful to the individual, but from the standpoint of, look, let's address the elephant in the room. As long as you're able to find that right balance.
So that goes in back to what I was saying is you really don't know the person, you just know what you hear.
Okay.
But yes, are there people out there calling him a racist? Are there people out there calling him all kinds of other things and what have you? Yeah, but for me, this really isn't the time or the place. Um, I don't respect that type of person. Um, in reference to the to those who are saying that, you know, um, and if he is, that's really fucked up.
It's a struggle for you, isn't it? Let
Well,
me.
see, because I don't. The reason I say that is because I know what I've heard,
Mm,
and I know what other people have said. I mean, I've heard bits and pieces of some really unflattering comments that would insinuate that he would be one.
mm.
Um, to be honest with you, I guess for me, I don't know how to feel about it. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I probably would have given it to you straight between the eyes. But it's like the man has passed. Yes, was he about spreading some fucked up bullshit? Yeah.
Lies. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You know, and to the point where maybe karma kind of came back and bit him in the ass a little bit because his very last time in WWE, they booed the hell out of him. And so, um,
Oh, go no,
but
go ahead. Pause on that note. Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here. Oh my god, not you. Just it's a lot to unpack.
hmm
It really is. What did I say to you guys? When was that he died?
Thursday.
Was that Wednesday or Thursday? Was it Thursday?
No, because Ozzy
Was
was
it Thursday?
Wednesday, so it must have been
It
Thursday.
had to been Thursday.
Yeah.
What did I say to you guys Thursday when it came to that hour long plus piece that we did on Hogan? What did I say to you guys? I said a lot of people. Go back and watch. Go back and watch. And this was me reacting to the news in real time about Hogan dying. I said to them, watch. You're going to get vloggers, low writers, podcasters. They're going to be doing hit pieces on the fact that Hogan was a racist, Okay. Oh, Hogan said that the greatest sin that could ever happen to him is if he came back reincarnated as a black person. That just tells you right there, he's a racist piece of shit. I like now I didn't mention that part, but I did say, watch, there's gonna be podcasters, vloggers, writers, they're gonna be writing hit pieces, they're gonna be and I said at that time, yes, expect that a lot of people are going to bring up the yin and yang of Hulk Hogan. They're going to mention the good, but you can't ignore the bad because it spilled out into the open. And once it reached the public domain, then unfortunately, guess what? Now it is in the court of public opinion. And as far as, what's real or not, now look, do I believe a person's heart can change? Yes, 1,000%. I believe a person's heart can change. That's not me being gullible. That's not me being a dreamer. Like, Tams will tell you, when we first started dating, I was a much different person. Hell, when I look back on that person now, I probably wouldn't want to be with that person. Okay, I wouldn't want to be with me. Okay, that's how, right. So, and I also am aware of individuals that maybe at some point, hey, I can only see my kid dating a person within their race, or for whatever respected reason, or no, my kid can't be gay, my kid can't, no, 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 and then like over time, their perspective, they have a change of mind, their heart, it like so there is such thing as, okay, this person has seen the error of your ways. They're really trying to, but again, in the court of public opinion, did Terry Bollea, notice I said Terry Bollea, not Hulk Hogan, there's a big difference. Thank you, Muhammad. Thursday afternoon, there's a big difference. What I have
Mm-hmm.
seen time and time and time and time again over the years is when people bring up individuals, whatever has spilled negatively about their personal life into the public domain, everybody's, oh, well, Becky Lynch, CM
Mm-hmm.
Punk is like, well, look, at the end of the day, to your point, which you struck very well, we don't know these people personally. All we can go based off of is, okay, well, what's out there in the public? Okay, you show me a sex tape with this guy. I go, well, nobody's perfect. Plenty of people commit adultery. But if you've got on tape this guy saying racist comments, he doesn't want to see his daughter banging some with the hard ER, basketball play, or actually no, correction, don't want to see his daughter with a hard ER unless he's got basketball money. Then it's like, oh, okay, so you know what your daughter dealing with or broke, but you don't mind her dealing with a rich. Okay, okay, all right, respect. Okay, respect to a degree. Right, but like, there's just so much. Okay, he took Gawker to court. Eh, you know, like, we can count the ways.
Mm-hmm.
We can count the ways. We don't need to. Lord knows, we already did it on the Thursday stream. You can count the ways. Yes, Hulk Hogan, the entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
the wrestler, whether some people like it or not, Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Mount fucking Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
You are never going to be able to take that away from him. The business as it stands, it just, yes, 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 1,000% yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lights off, cameras are away. Terrible Leia, just what's out there that's of public consumption, you're walking away going, yeah, I don't really know if I want to have a beer with that guy.
Right.
Is this guy really, or is, and then I don't want to go, look, I don't want to go too deep in the weeds on that. But I said on Thursday, watch for these guys. They're going to do hit pieces. They're going to do all these. And sure enough, just like fucking clockwork,
Mm-hmm.
just like fucking clockwork, they're out there. They're putting out these damn hit pieces. David Bixby having a fucking field day. I mean, he's got a Woody just bashing the hell out of the man. I thought WWE and going back to what I mentioned on Thursday, I said expect as soon as SmackDown,
Mm-hmm.
they are going to go heavy in their tribute to the Hulkster, and they will amplify that on Monday Night Raw. Sure enough, we go to SmackDown all throughout the night. I thought that was a fantastic video package
Mm-hmm.
narrated by Triple H,
Mm-hmm.
Paul Levesque. I thought they did a phenomenal job with that on such short notice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a really good job with that. You could tell that they really put a lot of personal, and
Mm-hmm.
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I'm sure they had to reshuffle whatever the original format
Mm-hmm.
was, right? But I thought they
Yeah.
did a fantastic job,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that flew out there and were willing to be part of that. It was nice to see Jimmy Hart,
Mm-hmm.
Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase. I know there's a couple of other names that I'm forgetting. Eric Bischoff was invited to come to that Cleveland show. He was
Mm-hmm.
invited to fly out, but he didn't think he was going to be able to make his connections because I
Mm-hmm.
think he was going to be coming from. I think he was doing something in Texas. I'm not sure. I can't remember now, but his great concern was about meeting those connections. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. My heart goes out. I didn't say this really at great length on Thursday. No matter how we may feel about the Hulkster, one thing that we need to remember at the end of the day, this was somebody's father.
Mm-hmm.
This was somebody's husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about Brooke. I know Linda Hogan and Terry Bollea. I know towards the end there, and it got ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It got very, very ugly. But I would imagine she is definitely hurting.
Oh, of
Okay.
course. That's the father of her kids.
Yeah. No, but
But
I would
also hurting
imagine there's
for
still,
what was.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine
Yeah.
there's still that part of her. For all we know, maybe she,
Mm-hmm.
maybe somehow they can get back together or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like when it's all said and done, there is a family that is grieving.
Yep.
There is a family that is grieving. I personally feel that if you do it in a respectful way and you address the fact that, yo, this man wasn't perfect. This man definitely made mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
questionable mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do after you learn that mistake?
Right.
The one thing, and I would really, really encourage the hell out of people to go check out Eric Bischoff. It was rough. It was rough watching him with Conrad, and Eric choked up quite a lot. Um, he's hurting big time. Eric Bischoff is hurting big time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really wish that could have been a case where Bischoff could have just done the episode by himself
Mm-hmm.
because I love Conrad. I got nothing but respect for Conrad and everything that he's been able to do just from a business standpoint but you know every fucking 5 minutes. All right, guys, we got to pay some bills. Eric, that's a very very poignant and emotional words there about the Hulkster there. Well, folks, we gotta get ready to take a commercial break. We gotta pay some bills, but we're gonna come right back here 83 weeks, and we're gonna talk more with Eric about his thoughts on the passing of his good friend Terry Bollea, the man you know is immortal Hulk Hogan. We'll be right back, and then you got to sit through a 4 minute fucking ad.
Oh God.
I'm like, dude, and look, to Conrad's, I'll give Conrad an out. Conrad said they are contractually obligated. So I guess there was no
There's no
way,
workaround there.
there was no, you know, I kind of get where he's coming from because we have done our own share
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
advertisers over the years. Lord knows we got to plug an advertiser before we get ready to wrap up the show and everything. But nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, guys. I was an asshole. I slept around on women, and like I had to learn a lot about myself, and in the process try to figure out how to be a better me for me, but for other people that I would come across, you know? And I also had to get out of my own way. Do you understand that, folks? I had to get out of my own head and stop restraining myself from what could possibly be, hey, this could be a good thing. This could, like, stop. What's wrong with you, man? Right? Be part of the solution, not the problem. And my whole outlook, now look, I still make mistakes. I still make mistakes. Most recent mistake I made, there was this project. You've heard me talk about it off and on over the years. And I keep talking about it because if you know anything about me by now, when something bothers me, I take it to heart. And I always use that as an anchor to, well, do better. Let this anchor serve as your purpose for doing better. Okay? Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody fucking perfect. But it's what you do with that time that you have on this earth. It's what you do in challenging yourself. Now, look, if you want to say to me, Lee, I hear you. But in my eyes, Terry Bollea, it seemed like this dude did not do enough to try to be part of the solution. To that, I say, very well documented. Not for
Mm-hmm.
nothing. I've said here on the show, and I know Titus O'Neil, Mark Henry, they've gone on record and they said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you really trying to be part of the solution? Join us. Go. And I even said it way before they did. I said, Hogan, if you're that serious, cut a check to the Boys and Girls Club.
Mm-hmm.
Do an auction, raise some money, give it to the Boys and Girls Club, or go to a local food bank in a lower income neighborhood or whatever. Do some goodwill work and all of that. Talk to these minority communities
Mm-hmm.
because it's so personal and it's such a big deal for a lot of people that I don't really expect for white, is it white contemporaries? Is that the right phrasing I want to use? I Because basically when it's all said and done, minorities really, really, just as they embraced Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Mm-hmm.
they embraced the hell out of Hulk
Mm-hmm.
Hogan back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Bruno Sammartino, oh my God, all the minorities,
Mm-hmm.
especially the blacks, they loved Bruno Sammartino back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. For God fucking sake, we were eating dinner at Clyde's the other night, and Bruno's name and other names were brought up and everything. So you know, Hulk Hogan for a lot of black communities.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, no bullshit, people. I remember growing up, a lot of people thought Hogan was black because of how dark he was.
Oh yeah, this tan.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people thought he was black.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know something, brother. And I mean, he had such swag, such charisma.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, only a black person can.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they realized he was white, it was like, well, the dude can still do no wrong. He's like, he might be white, but he's really black. He's one of us. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lot of people of color to hear what they heard and all that other stuff, it was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And these were the same, understand something. These were the same people, that same minority of people that I just talked about, same people of color. Guess what? When it came to the steroid trial, we didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you going back 91, 92, 1992, when that whole steroid trial shit was going on. We didn't give a fuck. Our whole thing was, look, do whatever you got to do as far as entertainment goes,
Mm-hmm.
but just, take it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't die using the shit.
Right.
You're going to do what you're going to do. You can't
Mm-hmm.
tell a grown ass man or woman what to do with their body. They're going to do what
Right.
they're going to do.
Right.
So at that point, you just go, well, I hope you're doing it in moderation. Hope you're being
Right.
smart or
Mm-hmm.
try to be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he went on the Arsenio Hall show. I remember back then, I'm like, dude, I'm like 11 going on 12. I'm like, dude, I don't know about this. Like, I'm saying they way back. I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, you shouldn't be doing no interviews, dog. Like, I don't know about this. And boy, did that blow up. That shit blew.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the sex tape.
It was
No, let me say, no.
yeah.
When the sex tape came out, just as we were with him during the sex trial,
Mm-hmm.
the steroid trial, when the sex tape came out, we didn't care. We was
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you fucking your best friend's woman? Well, hopefully she fine like that. And then when we saw pictures of her, we were like, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Well, was Bubba part of it too, or was Bubba like in another room or something, like eating Doritos, watching a game? Like, also he was downstairs while you was. Damn. Well, okay, cool. Freak on freak. Anybody know about being a freak? It's the black people. It's right. So we like, oh yeah, he definitely. If anything, more black people doubled down and said, oh, he's definitely one of us. Okay, baby, the dude could do no wrong. But it wasn't until the leaked audio came out.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it was like. Now you would think, oh, what about the audio that came out of when he was talking with Nick? Nick was behind bars and the really bad accident and Hogan was like, bad things happen to people for a reason and he was basically telling his son, look, I think I got a reality show lined up for you when you get out of here and all that other like. When we were hearing all of that, we were like, damn, that's fucked up. But at the same time, we were like, if anything, we all were like, even in the black community, we were like, probably shouldn't have had that phone conversation, yo. Like, you don't have that conversation knowing that the calls are
Right.
being monitored.
Right.
You know,
And they tell you that in the beginning.
you don't have that type of conversation, dog, right? It's like we kept forgiving the guy
Mm-hmm.
over, but the trajectory really changed
Mm-hmm.
when that, and sadly when you get that put out there and you've made really no conscious physical effort, you can tell a person you found Christ, and I
Mm-hmm.
really do believe in leading up to his death. I really really sincerely do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, people, go check out the Eric Bischoff joint. It dropped the other day. Like, Bischoff does a really, really good job in talking about his friend. I don't think he sugarcoated anything and in any of that. I probably got through almost the first hour of that. The first hour of that. But there's a way that you can bring up the person's wrongdoings in the most tasteful way without coming off heartless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this person had a family.
Mm-hmm. And they are now grieving and having to hear that you are literally, in their eyes, slandering their family.
Right.
And that's hard when you're trying to deal with your own grief
Yeah.
and figuring out, where do I go? What do I do next? I mean, that's.
Ooh, two things came today. Two things came today. So let me do this. I want to set you up real quick here because I want to go grab this package real quick. What I want you to do is show people. Um, what I want you to do is show people here. Go over the polling results here, folks. I got to grab a quick package that was just dropped off, and I would like it if you could read this. Read this, and then read this, and then once you're done reading it, you can actually, you see that little chat box that's there. You can tap on it, and it can open up the comments that were left. Were you able to do it? Okay.
Mm,
You see the comments,
well, I see. Oops. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
and then so now go back and read that community post. We're gonna read something to you that's
Okay.
Hogan related. I promise I'll be right back, guys. I'm
All
gonna have
right.
Tammy read this.
Okay, so the poll is Hulk Hogan's family. It's so disrespectful to,
Or a post.
sorry, a post. It's so disrespectful to call him a racist at this time, a time like this. So there were a few comments that came through. The first one is, I think he found God, apologized, and should be allowed to rest in peace. Prayers to his family and friends and fans. Rest in peace, brother. Hulkamania will live forever. Heart. Next quote or comment. I think we should remember the wrestler, but he also had more. He also had, or I'm sorry, but he also had other many controversies before racist insult, and he had other kinds of controversy as well. So I think it's safe to say that some people are pointing out the critics, and there are a lot of other great reasons why people are criticizing him, and like all this other stuff. So they are some good points in between. I feel bad for the Hogan family after he passed away, but will, with everything else that he did, and nobody's shutting up on social media, I'm afraid to say that you just have to remember him as the guy. You did plenty of awful stuff to say.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
Okay, stop.
okay.
That's a.
Anyway,
Let me see that. That's a big old diatribe. That needs he needs Grammarly. Appreciate the
something.
comment, but man, needs some Grammarly about that one. Jesus Christ. I love reading people's comments, but I appreciate it more when we got the Grammarly going on. That was a long diatribe there. That was off just the one joint.
That was the second one.
Oh, that was the second one. Jesus. Okay. All right. I see longtime listener Lewis who says, but he was a racist though. So because he died, you want people to change their viewpoint on him in death, even though no, Lewis, I'm gonna stop you right there. No, I think what the family, if you go back and read what the family had posted, which was, it's so disrespectful to call him a racist at a time like this. Marinate on that for a little bit. And I'm that same way sometimes when I get like certain comments And it's like, dude, the motherfucker ain't even been put in the ground yet.
Mhm.
Can you like wait? So like perfect example.
Mhm.
Perfect example. Y'all know I love playing WWE Supercard. So as soon as Hogan died,
Mhm.
do I really need to finish the rest, people? I think I do. Somebody posts, oh man, it's so sad that Hulk Hogan died. Can we get a new card? Can we get like a new card like for Hogan, to commemorate his death and all that? Like just like celebrate his life and legacy and all that. Like, can we get a new card or something? And man, did they light that motherfucker up. That is literally like the man's not even in the ground yet. Okay? So when you hear the family say it's so disrespectful to call him a racist at a time like this, yeah, I get where they're going with that. It's like, can they have time to grieve?
Yeah.
Can they have time
Yeah.
to figure out, oh my God, what are we gonna do now?
Mhm.
Because this was our anchor. Brooke particularly, she had a very turbulent relationship with her father,
Mhm.
right down to the point they did not speak for several years. In the later years, they were kind of reconnecting. I know one of the last conversations Brooke had with her father, she said to him, "I feel so sorry for you that you're getting so up there in age and you're still working as hard as you did when I
When
was
you
born. I
Mhm.
wish you would just really slow down and just enjoy life. Just enjoy." And, he pretty much was like, I hear you. I love you. I'm sorry, but I gotta keep going. I gotta,
Mhm.
right? And so,
Some don't. Some people in that they've done it so long and so much that they know no other way. They think if they stop, it'll stop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really just to know that Brooke didn't definitively
Mhm.
with their relationship. So there's a lot there that's going on with that
Mhm.
family, and they're never really gonna fully recover.
Mhm.
It's very obvious.
But
Not just from it's not and see people. It's not even a financial thing. It is just with what we've seen of Hogan and his life story being told over the years. I mean, there was a lot of damage that was done to that family,
oh yeah.
irreversible damage.
Mhm.
And now what they have been cheated out of the most is that time to try to make things right.
Mhm.
Just when it seemed as though that was the direction that they were going. I know Nick
Mhm.
Nick recently got married,
Mhm.
and Hogan was actually at his
His wedding.
wedding and everything. So I get where some people are coming from. I'll read a couple of more comments because there were, I want to be respectful, and we ask people for their thoughts and all of that, and some people may not like some of these comments that we're sharing, but again, we always say keeping it honest, keeping it insightful, and keeping it interactive. So we definitely got to make sure we do that here. I think so. Did we go through? Did you read Ken's comment about it's not our business to judge?
No.
Okay, so Ken says it's not our business to judge him. God tells us not to judge others. I'm Christian. If he admitted where he was wrong and said he was sorry, then it's not right of any person to hold that against him. To err is human, to forgive is divine. God said that. Ken, you're very lucky that I'm reading this in a way where I'm in edit mode right now as I'm reading what you said. People, before you post, just look at your stuff real quick. And look, even if you're lazy, I sometimes get that way too. If you're lazy and you don't want to, here's the next best thing: pull up your Google AI or whatever, or go to Grammarly and just be like, hey, can you check this for grammatical errors? And they will clean it up in seconds. And then all you got to do is just copy and paste. Um, See what else you say here. To err is human, to forgive is divine. God said that. Judge not, or you will be judged. God said that too. When Hogan was saved, all he has done wrong was forgiven by God. And man don't have that right anymore, or man can't serve God and man both. Ken, I appreciate your comments. And obviously, you are very well rooted and connected to your spirituality and your faith. I appreciate that. Let's see, going through a couple of more comments. Feel free to sound off on Ken's there if you want. Oh, he did follow up with another one. He said, "I think he found God, apologize, and should be allowed to rest in peace. Prayers to the family and friends and fans. Rest in peace, brother. Hulkamania will live forever." And it looks like. Give me a second here. Looks like I found everybody's comments here for now. Let me go into the live chat here. Going to Bronx. Bronx saying, I don't want to call him a racism. I think you mean racist. I always call Hogan an idiot. Now, Bronx, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about when it comes to before you hit send, you want to pause and you want to make sure that what you're getting ready to post, it's cleaned up. Because look what you did there. This isn't me making fun of you. I just want to don't take it personal because I love writing and I'm always editing. Okay, now look at what you just wrote. I don't want to call him a racism. I always call Hogan an idiot. Now, do you see the double standard in there with what you just wrote? Do you see how that turns back on you and makes you look kind of silly? So what you want to do, you want to say, I don't want to call him a racist. So you want RACIST and then put a period in there. And then your I should be capitalized. You shouldn't be going in there with a lower I. Did you actually do two lower I's? So you kicked off with a lower I and then you followed it up, not putting. So basically, you did a run on sentence and you had racist. You should have had racist in there, but you put racism and you did another lower I.
Thank you, Professor Sanders.
Sorry.
So, guys, please do not be offended by what Professor Sanders over here is saying. We want you to comment, and please don't be afraid if you send it before your brain has engaged, or your phone has literally just done something, and you were like, "Damn, I didn't catch that." So, you know, um, in reference to the comment piece of it.
Hang on. I got another one. No, I mean, I don't know what we're getting ourselves into. Like, when I'm reading this, that's why, see, it makes my job really easy when I'm able to read stuff. Because, like, now I've got my eyes and brain trained to the point where when I'm beginning to read something, somehow I can catch if it's getting ready to be like a run on or like if
Mhm.
something is, and then I can automatically read it the way that they were intending it
Right.
to be, but it doesn't always work out so good. Like, I'll give you a prime example. If somebody's writing a thesis
Mhm.
in a comment section,
Mhm.
I tap out after a few seconds because it's like, yeah, there's too many grammatical errors. TBS. Oh no, I'm sorry, T85. That joint look like TBS. I need my glasses. Well, I'm not gonna cry about what someone said years ago on a tape recording. People can change. Some people need to get their panties out of a bunch and realize that. and move on. The dramatic pauses, I had to clean that up for you, T85. But I feel you. I get where you're coming from. Muhammad bringing up the fact that Big E, not to mention Kofi Kingston and Coco Beware. Those were some individuals that were outspoken about Hogan and wanted for him to, all right, we hear you saying you ain't mean no harm, and you want to
Put your money
be,
where your mouth is.
yeah, and they never
Didn't
took him
happen.
up on, yeah. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Um, I agree. I can respect the sentiments. In all forms, really. I do agree with Ken in reference to, you know, we all are imperfect humans. We all make mistakes. And to be judged is not for us. But I also agree, if you have wronged someone and you are wanting to do right by that person or persons, hell, even an entire race, why not put your money where your mouth is if you didn't mean anything by it? Just food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah. I go back to the controversy surrounding that Real American Beer and when he was on tour. And, we'll never definitively know why that black model was.
Oh, yeah.
We'll never really definitively
No,
know.
no.
For all we know, maybe she did something wrong, and maybe she was more on her phone texting like our waiter was.
Waitress.
Sorry, waitress. See, society, they've got me so. Well, we no longer call actresses. We now call them actors. So,
Oh,
it's no longer waitress, it's waiter, and it's like, I'm trying to keep up with the times. But it's hard, man. It's really hard. I remember one, oh my God, this was so funny. I came across a couple while I was out on the road a couple of nights ago. I said, "Hey, girls, y'all going in there?" And the one girl, she looked at me, and then the other girl, she's like, "I'm not a girl, I'm a boy." And I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I played that shit off. I said, "I was actually talking to her. And I don't have my glasses, as you can see." And I put my glasses on. And I was like, "Yeah, I can't see a damn thing really that well." I was like, "I just saw long hair." I was like, "Anyway, how you doing?" And they were cool. They were cool, though. Um, Deadpan humor. Look, you know, I got nothing else to say in regards to the Hogan thing. I really really don't. Except I appreciate his contributions as a wrestling fan. I will always cherish those memories. Um, Means a lot. It was. I mean, he played a big part of my childhood, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Even for me, like even when I started to grow out of love for Hulkamania, and I was really starting to lean more towards the bad guys, I always still had a soft spot for Hogan. When he reinvented himself in WCW, and just the fact that he was able to help put them on the map and everything, like I appreciate all his contributions. So many fond memories. WrestleMania 18 against The Rock, taking on HBK, Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels' most overselling match ever. I mean, it's a comical. It's a damn. There's only one other match that I was thinking about the other day where it was like, have I seen anybody that was as dramatic as Shawn Michaels was in overselling for the Hulkster? That it was like fucking comical. Well, not comical, but definitely overselling. Look it up online if you haven't seen it yet. There's a match that Hogan did with Mr. Perfect. And Mr. Perfect was just not quite like Sean though. Sean's in a category of his own. I think that with all the issues that Terry Bollea had, though, and trying to get one step closer to God, trying to get one step closer to being a better person, I definitely think he was on that journey. I think he would even admit to you that, he's not perfect, but that each new day that he's given, it's an opportunity to try to make right what was once set wrong. And I
Mm.
would definitely like to believe that he would admit to you that he's still finding himself making mistakes along the way. Well, guess what?
We all are.
We all are. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. We all are. So I had a really fun celebration the other day. It was a really cool party that you all had gave for me. So if you guys are gonna love this. So we went to this really nice restaurant Saturday night. It's called Clyde's. And man, you want to talk about some really good seafood? What else?
Everything.
Everything, everything. You guys gotta look it up, man. Clyde's. Oh my God. Um, Go ahead. Go ahead. You can. I'll let you sell while I just gloat.
So Lee wanted a celebration party. And I didn't necessarily want to go balls out for it, because we've got, UMD coming up, and we're going to most likely do the big celebration in a couple of years. So for this one, I just wanted to be kind of quiet, simple, cutesy. And so I said, well, I know this restaurant. It's got really good food, really, really good food. And I was like, yeah, really good atmosphere, all of that. So I booked it, invited. Shout out to the people who came out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have no idea. One thing that, I did and set up everything as much as humanly possible to make this an awesome experience for everyone. Now, the one thing I didn't count on is our waiter.
You mean waitress?
Trying to stay woke, I guess. Waitress. Um,
Sadie was her name, by the way.
right. Steer clear. Nice enough. But let me just say, one of Snow White, one of her dwarfs is missing. Dopey.
Hmm.
Yeah, Dopey is missing. You can find her at Clyde's.
Oh shit. Oh damn.
Um, so
Man, we were cracking up some damn good jokes, and them bitches was just going over her head. She was like, "Yes, okay, okay, very good." Like,
it was so funny because one of the guests in our party was being 100% blunt, 100% truthful, and it didn't phase her one bit. And you know how most wait staff come around. Hey, how you doing? How's everything? Blah. Can I get anything for you? So on and so forth. And one of the guests at our party was like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah, you gave me the appetizer, but where's the damn food?"
yeah,
And, and she's like, "Okay, okay." And it was like, pew,
oh shit.
and and it was so funny because the same person prior to that was like, "So, where's the wait staff?" And Lee's like, "You know what? I think I see her over there." And I look at where Lee's looking, and sure enough, she's on her phone, having a whole good time.
Yeah, I mean, homegirl had both hands on the phone, and she was just like she was on a fucking BlackBerry. I'm like,
Yeah. And didn't look up once.
yeah,
I mean, like, literally, myself and Lee are staring at this woman, and she didn't look up once. And I'm like, wow. And that wasn't the first time, because I caught her another time doing it. And I was like, wow. So I'm thankful for the fact that, her untimeliness gave us a really great experience because it gave us more time with our guests who joined us for the celebration. But in the flip side of that, people was hungry,
yeah, yeah.
and it's like, even one of our guests was like, I don't want to finish my beer because I need some food to go with it.
And he's a skinny thing and a diabetic, skinny dude, and he's a diabetic. And so because he was telling us afterwards how he took his medicine leading up to arriving, like I guess he took his medicine in the car, and then so it was, yeah.
Yeah,
And
thinking that the food would be semi-timely.
right, because we started off with on no appetizers. And it was really cool. They were like, "So do you want your appetizers and your entrees all together, or nah, kick things off and let us get the entrees?" And I like the fact that we were able to enjoy our entrees
Yes.
and really let that settle in. And then boom, the second wave. Okay, what are we having for our main course? The appetizers. What did you get again? Because that was really good.
Crab and avocado dip.
That was crab and avocado dip. What was that on soft baguettes or?
Yeah,
That was really good.
it was.
That was really good.
It was. And guys, I do not like seafood, but their food, every time I've went, has always been top notch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're literally finishing our our food with the entrees, and I'm thinking about dessert. And completely had, honestly, I was so caught up in the moment, completely had forgotten that I had already brought dessert. I was like, hey, yeah, where's the cake? And I actually, mind you guys, have to go get the wait staff to go figure out where my cake is.
Uh,
And I'm like, and I'm sitting here going, if you were, and partly I was wondering if you were any kind of wait staff and you would have a meeting about, hey, you have this big party, that big party. I mean, it's one thing if it's a couple people, one-offs, right? But you got a party of 5 to 15 people, you would want to think that the wait staff is having some kind of meeting.
right.
Meaning, okay, this person is coming in for it. Now, if we had $1 for everybody who thought it was Lee's birthday,
Oh man, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
we might have paid for dinner. I'm being facetious, but
No, you definitely are onto something.
it was
And
semi funny.
and look, you definitely was gonna have motherfuckers singing happy birthday when you was like, well, yes, maybe we should have candles. When the waitress was like, would you like candles? And you know, we're like, we don't need no candles. It ain't no damn birthday. Well, you want to blow them out and best wish. Like, no, we don't need to do all that. Like, you do that for your birthday. You don't do that for no congratulations for getting your degree. Like, no, it's like it's good, man. It's good. Um, Great food though. Clyde's. How many locations did the manager say they had?
I thought she said 20. Was it 14?
She either
14
said
or 15.
14 or 15 locations.
Yeah, in the DC metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. That one is by far the best location that I've ever been to.
Yeah. Look them up. I mean, really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Good, great staff,
So,
great food, with the exception of the waitress.
but in hindsight, you know, we let our voices be heard inadvertently, mind you. I
Yeah, that was inadvertent.
we were leaving out, and there, which somebody was just waiting on their ride, and we just kind of were like, okay, they're waiting on the ride. We were just kind of chit chatting about the what have you, and I guess she overheard our chit chat and was like, hey, how was everything? Blah blah blah. And turns out she's the manager of the place. So we had a little chit chat about our experience, and she took notes. So, we're sorry.
And look, people, we weren't dicks. We made sure that the waitress got a nice tip. I think from all of us, it's safe to say that she got somewhere between 30
To 50.
to 45. I'd be shocked if she got 50. I really, because it wasn't worthy of a
No.
50. And for those of you that's like, whoa, that's too. When you go to a place like Clyde's, once you look up their prices, the reviews, and all of that, like, let's really make sure we're stressing this. When it comes to a place like Clyde's, yeah, you need to bring some money, okay? Like, if it's gonna be for you and maybe one other person, y'all are gonna be looking at least, especially when you factor in the tip for the waiter, y'all are gonna be looking at dropping probably about close to about $140. Okay, give or take. So, but I had a great time. That was nice. Great seeing friends. And then it's kind of one of those, we got to do this again because, like, I don't really get enough chill time as it is because it's like, and I know Tams doesn't as well. So it's like we're trying to, like, seems like lately we've been doing something every week now, which is really really cool because we've been saying for like the longest time there's got to be more to this than just work and in my case work and school and the shows, like it's got to be more to life than just. And so we've been on a really good streak so far where we're always doing something on the weekend. We went to see the new Fantastic Four movie, First Steps, and we saw it at the Screen X theater out in Columbia, Maryland. First time ever going to one of these places. Fucking awesome. I love the fact that we went there. And let me tell you something. If you've never heard of Screen X, they've got basically three big ass screens. And so you're watching and experiencing the movie visually and audio wise in a 180-degree angle. And it's so fucking badass. I think they call it panoramic vision or whatever. And so Fantastic Four, when it was being developed, that part, that mechanism was kept in mind for the movie. And so it's funny because we sat down, and word to the wise, if you're gonna do Screen X, don't sit in the very front. You want to go for the middle section and back so that you can really enjoy that 180-degree angle. You want to be able to enjoy all three screens. So when me and Tam sit down, we're like, this ain't nothing impressive. And oh, we only got one screen. There ain't no, well, where's the 180-degree angle? What the hell? Then finally, when we get through the trailers and it's movie time, we're like, oh. And then we're like, shit. Now, on an interesting note, it seemed like all the main action, as it should be, was on our center screen. And it just seemed like whatever was cut off to those sides of the screens, that pretty much was really irrelevant. So let me really paint the canvas for you a little bit. So close your eyes and picture this. Your main screen, let's say you've got a conversation with Reed Richards and Sue Storm, right? Invisible Woman. Let's say they're talking in their bathroom, okay? And what's on the left and the right side screens to give you that 180-degree angle, let's just say, oh, you're seeing a little bit more of that bathroom that they're in. You can see the shower door. on one side, and then maybe on the other side you can see, I don't know, maybe you could see the door for the bathroom, right? It's open, and you kind of see a little piece of a hallway, maybe. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, does it? That sounds kind of irrelevant. And you're actually right. So for me, I just kind of felt like, this really isn't. Now, I think where it really might have definitely came into play was fighting scenes, maybe like when Human Torch is going through the city or Silver Surfer's going through the city and all that other cool shit. Then I think the panoramic mechanism, that's when it's kind of okay, yeah. But not every movie, so you all got to do research. If you're going to do Screen X, you got to do your research. You got to make sure that that movie that you're interested in seeing, if it's if it was made with panoramic vision in mind, because if not, then it's literally one of those, well, let me not bother, I'll just go to my regular theater, my regular AMC or my regular Regal theater, right? But we had such a great experience, man. You want to talk a bit about the food, right? Since I talked about the movie, and look, as far as the movie goes, um, I know I did my review for it. I posted it on YouTube and TikTok. Go check out the TikTok. I know a lot of people are like, TikTok, that's silly, but you know what? From a video editing perspective, since that's up my alley, no, I embrace the fuck out of it, especially if it means, because one thing that was really cool for me when I had did Capital Emmys night and I was working with the social media team, the fact that none of us were TikTok savvy. And you know me, I like a challenge. So it's like I'm never settling. For me, it's always okay, how can we advance ourselves even more? What can we do to, better hone our skills? Like, what do we need to improve upon? And I walked out of there going, I'm going to learn TikTok.
Okay.
That way, the next time something occurs of a social media marketing team joint, like, okay, well, this is what I've been working on. This is what I can do.
Right.
I reviewed the movie. I mean, I really don't have anything more to say about it. I mean, I said what I needed to say in like 3 minutes, right? Beautifully, I might add, right to the point. You could definitely sound off about the movie, but also talk about the great food that Screen X had, because you want to talk about affordable prices compared to Regal and AMC. Woof!
So, guys, really.
And happy birthday! Today is Triple H Paul Levesque's birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday!
happy birthday.
He's 56.
Happy birthday. Um, as it's so for me, ScreenX actually in our area is about either way in a direction about 45 minutes away. So we go to the movie theater and we get there and we're like, oh, okay, all right, and it actually reminds you of a retro throwback movie theater. Um, and so I was like, okay. So we go to the counter.
It
And
just
so, mind you, when we're seeing Superman, obviously they bring the food to us. Okay.
That was AMC.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was an AMC. And then the,
So you're saying that to let them know
I'm
that at
saying that
Screen X,
at ScreenX, you take it with you. Now,
yeah.
my only gripe with ScreenX is I wish if you order more than one thing or two things that they'd give you a tray. That's my only gripe. Other than that, I had no gripe about that. But so to be funny, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to waste money either. So I asked the person that was behind the counter. I said, "Oh, you can answer this if you want, but you don't have to. How fresh is that popcorn?" And and I said, she said, "Oh, about 10 minutes." been made about 10 minutes. And I said, oh, okay, well, then I'll have a bag. Because our last experience with popcorn was not so hot. And so we both hadn't eaten. So kind of my eyes were bigger than my stomach kind of thing. Um, so we ended up getting, Lee wanted a hot dog and some cheese fries. And I was like, oh, I just get some popcorn. But then I really wanted some pretzel bites. So we had that, and we kind of gave each other a taste of each thing that we got, and it was all very good and very reasonable. Now, what I paid for the ScreenX versus what I would have paid near my house, oh, at least a 20% decrease, maybe more, 20 to 30% decrease in what I paid at ScreenX versus what I would have paid by my house. The chairs beat AMC to smithereens, because you can really literally lay out in the chairs
Back, way back.
versus, oh yeah, I'm just gonna prop up my feet, kind of thing. So that was a win for us, but mainly, my only gripe was if I was going to do that, we were sitting way too close because literally, I promise you guys, we were going, okay, and look to the right, and look to the left, and look into the center, and look to the right, and look to the left. So that was pretty much the movie. Or, you know what, you were just like, yeah, whatever, and then just, what was in front of you. But if we are to go back, it definitely would be, obviously sitting in the back, so that we can experience it as a full 180 view versus, where we were at and what we could see. It would give it more perspective. But the food, getting back to the food was actually very tasty, very fresh, very tasty. And of course, price point was good, as I stated before. Popcorn was fresh, and she didn't lie. It was very fresh. So yeah, I mean, it was a different experience, and I actually wanted to compare it to like an IMAX, as you kind of go forth and you're like with the innovations of movie theaters and kind of what they're doing to put, excuse my French, asses in seats. What does one give you that the other one doesn't give you? And funny enough, I went in the theater looking at the sides going, okay, well, I don't see a screen. Interesting. Well, I hope I just didn't drive 45 minutes to get gypped. And funny enough, I certainly didn't get gypped. And it was like, whoa, this goes all the way back. Okay. So then it was like, okay. But it was cool. Now, IMAX has its perks. I think if it was something that I just thought I had to see on a Screen X, with it being like that panoramic view, and I knew that the movie would support it, I probably would go back. But if it was just something in my local theater that didn't really warrant me needing to, have that experience, then my local theater down the street is just as good.
To your point, the next movie we're gonna check out, and I'm looking forward to that, seriously, because I was telling Tams the other day. I said, "Shit, as long as we've been together, we've never gone to the movies and seen a comedy. I mean, we've done DC Improv, and John Witherspoon,
Yeah.
John Witherspoon, but we're gonna go see the new Naked Gun movie opening this coming week, so that's gonna be loads fun."
And for some of you who know or don't know, and you may not, but this is year number 14 for us. And it actually seems a bit full circle because the very first movie that me and Lee went to see was a Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah, for the longest time I kept thinking it
No, it
was
wasn't Taken.
Taken, but it
No,
wasn't.
I
It
want to
was
say it was Unknown.
That's the name of it.
Yeah,
That's the
I
name
want to
of
say
it.
above unknown.
Yeah.
So to go back full circle and to go back and see that, and then it be a comedy is just kind of, he always feel it always felt like even in his other movies he always felt like he had that dry sense of humor. So this should be fun.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely should be fun. One other passing. I'm so sorry to go back. This is much lighter. Like I promise you guys, it's much lighter. Rest in peace to jazz musician Charles Mangione, known for the hit song "Feel So Good." Or if you're like me and you are familiar with Mike Judge's King of the Hill series, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think come August there's going to be new episodes that's going to be available on Hulu. They're just going to drop all the episodes. I'm actually going to get a subscription, maybe for free, hopefully, for that month. And just so I can binge watch on those episodes. He passed away at the age of 84. And you all may not know that much about this guy, but if there's ever any part of you that maybe at some point was interested in jazz, you definitely you owe it to yourselves to look this guy up, get yourselves familiar with his catalog. So much good shit that's out there. He stopped performing altogether in 2010, although his studio recording output it slowed down way before that. I mean, this guy by the late 80s, 1990s, like he had already achieved massive success with works like Feel So Good, Children of Sanchez, and his jazz pop fusion catalog. I mean, because that's how I would describe his catalog in a nutshell. It's jazz pop fusion oriented. Now, the reason why he ended up not putting out any new material and all that is because of the declining interest in jazz fusion. You guys got to remember, like, I'm a big Miles Davis fan, and even by the 90s there, even Miles was kind of starting to phase out a little bit there. So uh, you know, for Charles Mangione, I'm sorry, for Chuck Mangione, unfortunately by the 1990s, the music industry, it was shifting, as you all know, towards grunge, hip hop, gangster rap, mainstream pop. So that jazz fusion style, which got him a lot of commercial, success, less. And as a result of that, yeah, it don't make no sense putting out new albums. So he mainly focused on his catalog that was already established and was going on tour well into the 2000s. He also was a recurring guest on King of the Hill, believe it or not. So two things made him just retire from the spotlight altogether. By the late 2000s, he had lost a couple of his band members in a horrific airplane crash. And then his wife had passed. I think his wife passed maybe like a year later or something like that. And so, just the combination of all of that, he just decided, you know what, I'm just done. I'm just gonna retire, and that's it. So there was no collaborations. Hey, let's get Mangione on. There was nothing. The last time he did a concert was in 2014, and then at that point he was done. He was just totally done altogether, living a quiet life. So right down to the point, I know a lot of people were trying to figure out what was maybe one of the last photos in circulation of him. You got to go back to 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, he very reclusive, very reclusive. So every time I hear "Feels So Good," I think about King of the Hill, because you got Charles. For those of you that don't know, so you got Mangione. He's in that bad boy. And he the running gag on the show, he goes, "It feels so good to be back at Megalomart." Like in every episode, like no matter how stupid, ridiculous the situation, like somehow the freaking Megalomart was always brought up in there. I loved it. I love that deadpan humor. So rest in peace to that brother. Rest in peace to him. Let's see. Anything else we need to get into before we get ready to dip out? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Tell the good folks about the experience that your father had with Domino's. You guys got to hear this. This is a scammer alert. Definitely listen to what Tams, because when Tams told me this, I said, "Yo, you got to tell this story because yeah, I could do it justice, but it's like it's your story, indirectly it affected you, right? So tell the people about this. This shit is crazy what you all are getting ready to hear, and I would love to know if you guys maybe had a similar experience because I've never heard this shit before in my entire life.
So, this past Friday, I had to run some errands, and one of them was a doctor's appointment with my dad. So, he was just saying, just catching me up on the times and so on and so forth. He was like, "Yeah, the other day we had Domino's." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he said, "Yeah," he said, the guy was saying that we didn't pay for the pizza. And I went, "Huh?" And I start, kind of rolling it through my mind and going, that sounds like a load of bull. Because I was like, there's nobody that you're going to even get to come off the block if you haven't prepaid for it first.
Mm.
So I said, okay. I was like, yeah, we don't do cash on delivery anymore. We haven't done that since probably the early 90s. And I was like, huh, okay. So I told my dad, I said, well, your roommate needs to ask for his money back from if he did indeed pay Domino's for it. So he said, yeah, yeah, whatever have you. So I literally walk into the house and I then now hear the story from the roommate to where he said the guy called from his personal phone who was delivering the pizza to tell this person that he needed the money for the order. And I'm like, say what? And he said, yes. He said he had his daughter and she was hollering on the phone and or crying or what, but I don't even know how old this man's daughter is. And I'm like, and I said, so did you reach out to Domino's to see if they charged your card? And he's like, yes, for sure they did. And I was like, and he's basically telling you that it was never charged? Yep, that's right. And I said, wow, isn't that something that a delivery driver is trying to, and guys, my dad is older. He could be at an a age considered to someone could want or try to take advantage of someone older because maybe they're not as hip on the times to where you couldn't get away with this in like our household because we would be like, what the hell you're talking about, versus someone who is up there in age. so so basically, long story short, the delivery person tried to essentially get more money out of this roommate because I guess he wanted a bigger tip. And the way he figured he could do it was basically telling them that he didn't pay for the order. And that, my friends, is bullshit. Because nobody and their mama takes anything of a product delivery out to anyone if you have not already paid for it. So basically, what I said to this person was that you need to call your credit company and stop the charge
So
and
let
reverse it.
so let me make sure I understand this right. Right, okay? Because this sounds like a doozy now. Okay, so let me make sure I'm hearing this right. So your dad and his roommate, they paid for the pizza, okay,
With Domino's.
with Domino's. All right, so you know what? So you know what? The only thing that is okay. Hang on. Let's go back even further. Hold up. So when they put in this order, did they do it online or did they phone it in?
Phone.
Okay. First of all, y'all need to stop doing that shit. It's 2025.
Yeah, I know they didn't do it online.
I understand that. I'm just saying. We this is where we need to teach them, especially since they're up there in age. We need to teach them how they can do this, right? And you other folks out there, y'all might want to take this advice as well. If you have a aging loved one, someone definitely up there way in age, you definitely want to set them up right. It's 2025. Ain't no reason to be on the phone. Yeah, my credit card. Yeah, is 44444123 expiration. Some bitch, verification code. Some dumb fuck. Right? Like we don't like. It's 2025. All right. You got your phone. You can put in your order that way. Like, look. Here's the best part. I don't want to hear. Well, they're so old. And look. If they got a smartphone, they got half the battle won. The only thing you got to do is there's a way you can do it regardless if you have an Android or an iOS device. You can, this, you can save your payment method automatically. That way when you go to say a Domino's or somedumbfuck.com and you're getting ready to check out and all that other good stuff, it can pre-fill for you. You don't, to the point you don't even need to put in your verification code. You don't even need to do that. You're good to go. So that's the first step because you just don't know motherfuckers. And I've read too many times in recent reviews where motherfuckers they're getting these fraudulent charges and they're able through process of elimination quickly able to figure out who they gave their credit card to and where. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing, right? Okay. So they gave the credit card information over the phone. That's like a big no-no. All right. But anyway, they find out their total, all that good stuff, right? Pizza's paid for. There's no reason for them to pay a delivery fee, I guess. Not
No, pay
unless
for the order again.
no. What I'm trying to establish is, see, they went old school, old school. Normally, the way Domino's and other pizza places operate now is when you put in an order, I don't know if you're aware of this yourself, but there is now a delivery fee that's taxed on. So no matter what, that delivery driver is getting money regardless. I say that to say this. When they come with the pie, and in this case, Domino's, pizza's paid for, the driver's got their money. They're good. The driver's going to get their money at the end of the shift, or however it's fucking worked out. So there's no reason for the driver to go, I need more money, unless they're being a thieving, conniving, lying son of a bitch, which is exactly what this which is exactly what this driver was trying to do. So how much was he trying to get out of him?
So according to the roommate, the bill was $30. And basically he was trying to get another 30. And he did. Wow. So that one order cost $60.
Oh shit! So and what did they have the show for?
One pizza.
One pizza. One pizza is not going to be no damn $60.
Right.
Where is the common sense here?
Don't know.
There's two of them. How could they not say foul?
I don't know.
Wow. I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. If they're interested, it's called Invisalign.
Mm-hmm. And are you new name George?
Yes.
Okay.
But did you hear what I said? The name of the property was?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll take cash to hand right now.
Mm-mm.
Wow, that is. How did they not know that? Most people would catch that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay, so you told them that, but like, what steps are they taking to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Um, they will not be ordering from that establishment nor chain ever again.
Hmm.
And I'm sure as soon as Monday morning, credit card company will be called.
Do they have internet? As far as like, do they hop on the computer and all that?
My dad does.
And the roommate doesn't? Wow, he doesn't do anything on the computer? He doesn't know how to use a computer at all.
I don't know, but not that I've seen him do it.
Damn. And he was the one that put in the order for
Mm-hmm.
it. That might explain a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I've seen enough of your dad to know, nah, he knows how to order
Mm-hmm.
food
Mm-hmm.
on a phone or a computer. He knows
Mm-hmm.
how to. So how come your dad didn't spot it?
I don't know.
Isn't that weird, folks? That's like the weirdest shit I've ever heard. Cause my ass would have been like, wait a minute, I've already paid for the food. Like, what do
So
you?
what the fuck are you talking about?
What it sounds to me, and you all can let us know what you're thinking here. But what it sounds to me like what this guy was trying to do, and it's a fucked up practice. I'm gonna tell you what I suspect had happened. I think the driver was running extremely low on gas for his vehicle, and basically, rather than wait till the end of the shift to get his money, so then he can, whatever with gas and all that. I think it might have been a case where he was trying to just get whatever extra money he could. So I take it, one thing you didn't mention. So upon the delivery guy's arrival, that's when he tried to do the extortion or was the extortion
It
happening
was a,
over the phone?
so it was a carryover. First, it was a phone call, and then it was at the front door.
So he tried to extort them at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
The delivery driver did, not the store itself
Right.
over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, I think the driver was trying to either I think he was trying to get some gas, because some drivers will do that. I know with Uber and DoorDash, for example, you will have, it's a fucked up practice. You will have some drivers that will go, hey, I need you to send me some money so that I can go get some gas. And it's like, wait, what? Like
Mm-hmm.
some drivers, and they shouldn't be doing this, they will try to hold that person's food hostage
Mm-hmm.
until they can get, and it's like, first of all, how is that customer supposed to just hand over more money? They've already done what they needed to do
Mm-hmm.
in the app. There is no way you can
Mm-hmm.
request, there's no way you can do that. Not unless you say to them, give me cash money. And then if you even try that shit, like, either way, you're fucked. But some
Mm-hmm.
people have been very gullible, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah, sure, whatever you need, or whatnot.
Well,
And now if that driver wasn't trying to operate that way, then he probably felt that this is an old person.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I can just pull a fast one.
Mm-hmm. I think it was the latter.
You know, that's real fucked up. Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, that is like, And you gotta look out for these old people, man, because there's all types of scams that's going on left and right, man. If they're not doing foul shit like that, my new personal favorite one is when you get the little message on your phone saying that you've got unpaid parking fees and all that, and then if you don't pay by this date, your car is gonna be confiscated, or it's like this scary fucked up message, and you're like, oh no, what do I do? Well, if you're around our age or younger, you already know it's a scam. But for people up there like your dad and his friend, then it's like you're gonna click that link, and then the next thing you know, your account
It's hacked
is
and
in the, hacked
encrypted
and in the
all kinds of
negatives. Yeah,
stupid shit.
all kinds of stupid shit. Uh, so be smart. Be smart. Make sure your loved ones are doing it right. I'll tell you what. As far as quick programming notes go, we got Monday night show coming up July 28th, 2025, minutes after WWE Raw goes off the air. Join your man. We'll be talking Raw Fallout, get into the very latest in headlines. We'll also preview SummerSlam Night 1 and 2, as it'll be going down August 2nd and the 3rd. SummerSlam going to be starting at 6 p.m. Love that. I love that.
Sure you do.
Sign me up. That means I get to enjoy my sandwich and my warm glass of milk, my recliner, and watch the news early. That's what's up. I love that. I love that. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. Want to give a shout out to friends of the show. Shout out to the boys over at Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Julian Cannon of Digiday and the Nocturnal. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsor. If you guys love all things R&B, jazz, a little bit of hip hop, you especially love hearing from indie artists, right? Maybe there's some really cool, nice hidden gems out there. Check out the IME radio station where you can discover fresh indie artists, new genres, and the future of music. Streaming 24/7. Check them out, the IME radio station. Happy to have them on board as a sponsor of this show. Get at us all throughout social media using the keywords the RCWR show. And for this edition of Wrestling with the Topics, I'm the one and only Lee Sanders, Tammy Sanders, wishing y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I think the way I wanted to say that, I'm as always Lee Sanders. She has been the beautiful and the lovely Tammy. There you go. Now we clean that up real good. Wishing all y'all to be safe, most importantly, be kind to one another. We'll see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all, and take care.
Take care.